One day, some Vedic scholars along with TKS were going around the hill chanting the Samaveda. They suddenly saw 4 or 5 tigers seated in the middle of the road. Petrified, they stopped chanting. For a long time, the tigers looked at them and then got up and disappeared into the forest. Bhagavan was at Skandashram. TKS ran to him and told him what had occurred. Bhagavan said, "Why did you stop chanting the Vedas? They were Siddha Purushas, eager to listen to your chants. You should have continued chanting the Vedas." TKS told me that inside the mystical Arunachala there are vast realms. He said that Bhagavan had shared this vision with him. Thrice, Bhagavan had visions of being inside the hill. TKS said he had also had that experience. I would like to reveal that I have also had this experience of being inside the hill. Have faith, trust the mystery, have devotion, be humble and surrender. If a person is elder to you even by a day, prostrate to him or to her, and then humility will come and you will enjoy the spiritual freedom. Prostrating to another person is not enslavement. It is freedom, blissful spiritual freedom. However, it is more important to have Arunachala in our heart, Agame Ninai power. Bhagavan was very kind. Once, Chinna Swami had a quarrel with TKS because he had gone and prostrated before a saintly lady. "When Bhagavan is here, why did you go and prostrate before someone else?" shouted Chinna Swami. TKS was upset and so did not have his food. Early next morning, when he arrived, Bhagwan was making idlis in the kitchen and saw his disturbed face. He said, "Come on, sit down and eat some idlis." TKS replied, "Bhagwan, I have to rush to the school. I have classes." "Hey, the cat is out of the bag. Today is Sunday. Which classes are you teaching? Come on, sit down." Bhagwan brought a leaf and put it there. "I have made some special sambar." Bhagwan sat next to him and piled up the idlis. TKS later said, "I have never eaten so many idlis in my life." In his earlier days at Ramanashramam, Bhagwan would dry his towel on a clothesline at the farther end of the hall. There was a sparrow's nest with 3 or 4 eggs. One day, while Bhagwan was pulling out the towel, one egg fell down and cracked. Bhagwan was taken aback. He told the attendant, "Look, look, see what I have done today." He took it up and looking at it tenderly said, "Oh, the poor mother will be so sorrow-stricken, perhaps even angry with me for causing the destruction of her expected little one. Can the cracked eggshell be pieced together again? Let us try." He then put a wet cloth around the egg and said, "I hope Arunachala will save me from this sin." He put it back and every few hours he would come and change the wet cloth. After 7 days, he saw that the crack had healed and said, "Look, what a wonder! The crack has closed, and so the mother will be happy and will hatch her egg. Arunachala has freed me from the sin of causing the loss of a life." One fine morning, the egg hatched and the little young one came out. With a gleeful face, Bhagwan took the chick in his hand, caressed it with his lips, stroked it with his soft hands, and passed it on for all to admire. Once, TKS narrated to me a special dimension in Bhagwan's solicitude. Bhagwan's solicitude towards the wives of those serious seekers who chose to be with Bhagwan at Arunachala and serve him was extraordinary. He referred to many incidents that took place in the lives of Muruganar's wife, Sub-Registrar Narayan Iyer's wife, and my mother Naglakshmi. In that light, he unfolded a page from his life's book. TKS had lost his wife, leaving him with a son. This plunged him deeply into spiritual striving. But his elder relatives pressurized him to marry again. TKS stoutly refused. One day, unable to deal with their continued pressure, he went to Bhagwan's presence. Bhagwan was up on the hill. Looking at him, Bhagwan said, "Allow life to take its own course. Do not resist. All will be well at the end." He further added, "When one is directly under the sun, can darkness ever creep in?" TKS agreed to marry again. His second wife bore him 2 children. Bhagwan was extraordinarily kind to TK's second wife, paying special attention to her whenever she happened to be in his presence. TKS told me that many of the scholar devotees and affluent devotees ignored him. He reasoned it out by saying that perhaps their dislike was due to my being very poor and not possessing any academic qualifications. They used to openly insult me saying, "After all, you are only a school teacher." When I became morose and sad on hearing this, TKS patted me on the back and said, Bhagwan always treated me with extraordinary love, affection and care. Can there be more fulfilling treatment met out to me than Bhagwan's solicitude? In 1933, at the age of 36, TKS still felt incomplete. So he prayed to Bhagwan, Bhagwan, show me your real form. Bhagwan said, sit down there, and directed his glance of grace. TKS' heart opened and he closed his eyes in ecstasy. Bhagwan told him, whatever you want to see now. TKS' chosen form of God was Rama, so he asked to see Rama. For 2 hours, he had the darshan of Rama crowned, seated on the throne with his wife Sita, surrounded by his brothers and with Hanuman, the monkey devotee, at his holy feet. When he came out of ecstasy, Bhagwan asked, what did you see? TKS shared the description of what he had seen. Bhagwan said, go and bring Dakshinamurti Ashtottaram, which means Rama is Dakshinamurti. It is said that Rama's capital city Ayodhya has 8 corners and 9 gates. Tiruvannamalai has 8 corners and 9 gates. Tiruvannamalai is Ayodhya and Rama is Arunachala. TKS said, I wanted a god, a scripture and a devata to be worshipped. Bhagwan became my universal god, his collected works became my scriptures, and Rama was my devata. Bhagwan proved that he was Rama by giving me Rama Darshan. Once, I asked him, how did you compose the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya? TKS was kind enough to share the following. From my early childhood, I was deeply devoted to Lord Krishna. Generations after generations of our family were initiated into the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudeva is another name for Shri Krishna. Hence, I read with great interest and delight the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I longed to have the vision of Shri Krishna. One day, a line from the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna declares that the Jnani is my own self, went deep into my heart. I thought, while I have at hand Bhagwan Ramana, who is himself Vasudeva, why should I worship and long to have the vision of Shri Krishna separately? Thus, I contemplated, I want one single mantra, one God and one scripture, so that there is no conflict of loyalties. Suddenly, it dawned within my heart, Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. My heart continued resounding with it without a gap. I ran to Bhagavan and told him of the advent of the sacred mantra. He bestowed the mantra with his full approval. Later I counted the syllables in the new mantra. It was 12. The Vasudeva mantra too contained 12 syllables. I was delighted. Coming to know of Bhagwan's full approval of the mantra, the ashram management accepted it so fully that they even altered the original ashram crest so that beneath the symbol of Om, the words Shri Ramanashramam was replaced with Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Before coming and settling down permanently at the ashram, I had worked in 2 different firms. I had divided my first month's salary from each firm into 2 and sent it to my 2 Upagurus, my mother and my teacher TKS. Those were the last days of my revered teacher. He was very seriously ill and bedridden in a house opposite the ashram. I was visiting him every day. It was his last day. He said, Ganesha, these people who look after me are very poor people, so please utilize the amount in this envelope for my funeral expenses. I want you to carry my body chanting Arunachala Shiva all the way to the cremation ground. Though I was crying all the time, I asked him, how did you get so much money? He smiled graciously and said, you remember, twice you had sent me your first month's salary for my daily expenses? I did not spend it. They were so dear to my heart. Now you can spend it on my last journey back to Arunachala. He gave me a pat on the head and said, this is my blessing to you. See, I am giving you my all. Can anything else in the world equal the beauty and splendor of that single touch of wisdom? O Lord, grant me the boon that my tongue constantly repeat your sacred name, even if my mind strays away.